7 o'clock. Man, we're gonna have some fun tonight. I'm talking about fun tonight. Hold on a minute. Let me see who we got in here. Everybody piling in. Oh man. Oh yeah. Guys, um, it's pretty much like I say on every single thing I do online. And I'm uh I'm on several different streams. I'm on Facebook and YouTube, and I'm on. Hold on a minute here. Let me get everybody online. See who I got. Turn some sound off. Trucker's Tail. Hi, sorry I'm late. You're not late. You're not late. You're good. You're good. I just got here. We just started, and I'm gonna start out like I do on every video I do. Um, hey Jim, what's up, darling? Jen, I've never heard your voice. I don't know what you sound like. I don't have any idea what you sound like. What do you sound like? Describe yourself. My people. That's right. I want to start out by saying happy Tuesday. The weather's finally bearable. Some of this ice and all that shit let up a little bit so we can get around a little bit. Everything's kind of moving along like it's supposed to out in the world, out in the trucking world. There's Jeff. What's up, Jeff? Man, I'm glad you guys are here. I hope Cheryl's with you so she can translate, because I won't be speaking entirely in Marine this evening. I am going to make reference, but it won't be entirely. So it may maybe Sheriff Cheryl's here, maybe she can translate. I mean, that would be fun for me. Anyway, I'm going to start out this deal. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitch, I'm on 2 or 3 other things, about 6 different things. So I don't always know who's talking to me unless you click that little thing so I know who you are. I'm going to start out like I do every Tuesday night and say that my opinions are just mine. Hi, Michelle. What's up, my girl? Michelle, we need to talk. Me and you going to have to get back on the road. I know you don't want to hear it. I know. I get it. Chicago accent with Oklahoma twang. Unless I'm mad, then it's pure Southside Chicago. I like it. You know who I love to talk to? Just because I love to listen to her, Deb Dingo. Because Deb is from Australia. But when she came over here many years ago, she landed in New York. So what you get when you talk to Deb is that cross between Australian and New York. And when you're a Southern redneck boy like me, some days that's hard. I mean, we be talking about the same thing. I have no idea what she's talking about. But anyway, Stacy messaged me. What's up, Stacy? Stacy's a bull hauler. He left his soul with it. God bless him. My opinions are just my own. They don't reflect anybody else's opinions or ideas or thoughts or any. I just have my own opinions about stuff. I started these channels to help truck drivers, and I actually started these channels to help people in the same vein that my friend Trucker G does. I used to see him years ago, before even Mrs. G started riding with him, and he would just get on here, a couple times a week and just say nice things and be helpful to people. And I thought, as long as I've been doing this since I started driving trucks in 1978, as long as I've been doing this, it would be. That's Joe Denny. That's my brother. Hey, guys, I'm going to take 1 second. Joe, I'm just one second here. And I'm not saying anything out of school right here, and I hope you know that. Joe is my brother. I love Joe. He's my family. He's my people. Joe has cancer, and he's going to beat it. We're gonna beat this. Whatever we got to do. He's got friends all over the world and a whole lot of them on the road right here in the United States. And if you guys would just take, if you're of that, thought and of that mind, take a second and say a word or two to the man upstairs about Joe. I would appreciate it, and I know he would. Um, he's and you guys may or may not remember, we've talked about this a lot. Joe got hit down in Texas by a car doing about 120 miles an hour, and he lived through it, and his truck burned to the ground, the car burned to the ground. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on it because it's not my story to tell. But yeah, first the accident and now this. So, but you dealing with Joe Denny, okay? This, so you know. And Joe, I don't know if you see the comments on here. People talking about sending prayers every day, and they are. A lot of people. Joe's a legend out here. He's our people, and I'm not going to spend a whole bunch of time on it. I know he would not want me to. So just think about him, kindly, if you will, and give him a minute. He's going to beat this. He's had it. He's had a rough couple of months, and he's got a hell of a testimony, hell of a story to tell about it. It's his story. I will not tell it, but he can, and I'm sure he will, if he wants to. But think about Joe from every now and again if you get a chance. But I started this page and I started this thing. I'm not selling anything. I sell trucks sometimes. I haven't sold one in a couple of months because nobody's buying any right now. Everybody's scared to death, and I get it, but there's ways to make money, and we can talk about that every Tuesday night. I'm not set up on any of these platforms. Facebook, YouTube. I don't have enough people on YouTube. I've got a lot of people on a couple other places, but I'm not set up to receive money. I'm not interested in that. That's not what I do. So, I'm speaking. This thing caught my eye, and Trucker G called me earlier, and he was laughing and carrying on, and he said, I said, "What you doing?" He said, "I'm laughing at you." I said, "You laughing at me or with me?" He said, "What happened, brother?" I said, "I got triggered. I'm triggered." And I am. And I am. I'm going to talk about this Texas thing. And I'm going to give you my opinion. And you can take it for what it's worth. And you can do what you want to do. Some lady got mad at me on Facebook tonight and started, "You're negative and we don't need you," and all, and what I would say to that in response, and her last thing was, "Well, you're just very negative and I'm going to pray for you." Don't pray for me, baby. Pray for you. Okay? Because you are the meanest motherfucker I've seen in many, many moons, and you can cover it all up with all this bullshit if you want to. Stay away from me. I don't need you. I don't want you, and I don't like you. She started, I hadn't even said a word. I still haven't. "You're a negative. You're just a rah, rah, rah." You don't know me. You don't know me from Adam's fucking house cat. We have this problem, you see, and I'm going to get to the grifter part because I'm pissed off about it. And I'm going to tell you what I think, and you can do whatever you want to do. It's your money. It's your, it's your thing. You can do whatever in the world you want to do. Okay? We have a problem down in Texas with our border, a big problem. It's probably, heading into a presidential election, it's probably the single biggest issue out there right now, other than maybe inflation, which has got prices so high that people are working 2 or 3 jobs and still can't afford to make a house payment, a car payment, and put food on the table. Those are, the items that we're facing right now. And Joe Biden has been I'm not going to be political, but I will say this. Joe Biden's been in office for 3 years and he has not fixed it. He has not fixed it. If he has tried to fix it, I'm not seeing it. He is arguably the single most powerful man on this entire planet. And he hasn't fixed it. Now, that said, and I don't care who you like and who you don't like. I don't care if you agree with me or don't. I don't give a fuck. Stay with me here. We had another guy in office before him, had 4 years to fix it, and he did not fix it. He's going to build a wall, and he started building a wall, and them little Mexican dudes, those cartels, had goddamn, they had tunnels under that wall in a week that you could drive a truck through. I mean, that's not fixing it. If you want to fix it, the only guy I hear talking about it, and I'm not campaigning for anybody, the only guy I hear talking about fixing that border down there is Bobby Kennedy. He's the only one. He's the only one. Everybody talks about it. Trump talks about it. Biden talks about it. They talk about it. But, Bobby Kennedy said, when I get in there day one, the border is closed. Until we get it fixed, until we get the process in place down there and it's manageable, we're closed that day. And the way you close that border, to me, is a pretty simple thing. Okay. The Border Patrol is overrun down there. The sheriff's offices, the police departments down there are overrun down there. They're overrun. The way you close that border, if you want to send some National Guards and all that stuff, that's dandy and it looks real cool and everything. If you want to close the border, and here it is, Jeff, send a few Marines down there and just tell them all you got to do is line them up, and walk down the line and say, look here, you see that line right over there? And they'll all look over there and nod like that. And they go, nobody gets past that line from right now, from here on in. Nobody gets past that line. You understand me? And they'll all say, yes, sir. Yeah. And I promise you, nobody will come across that line. Not one. Nobody will come across that line. And if they do happen to, boy, they'll wish they had not. So we got all these guys now, got another convoy. It's a convoy. We're going to convoy out there. And what their slogan is, we're going to take our border back. Well, so far, as of this morning, and I haven't checked because I've been kind of busy. As of this morning, when I first woke up, the Secretary of State for the state of Texas and 2 of the sheriffs on the border and the head of the Border Patrol have said, don't come here. Do not come. The cartels are using trucks to transport these illegal people out of here. And if you come down here with trucks, that's just more trucks for us to check out and deal with. And we don't have the people to do it now. Please don't come. We don't need you and we don't want you here. And they've been very plain about it. So these big, tough guys that are going to take the border back are not wanted down there. They're not wanted. And I got news for you. I got this a news flash. Some of you might like it. Some of you might not. Okay. I got a news flash for you. That's not your problem. That's not your problem. That's not what the problem is. Okay. The problem is in a little town just slightly north of Richmond, Virginia. Because if they wanted to close that border, it would be closed. I don't know. I don't know. 3 days, maybe 2-3 days. I don't know. I can tell you that, coming face to face with a pissed off Marine is a bad idea. It's bad for everybody, except the Marine. But if we wanted to close that border, we could close that border. But we don't have people that want to close the border. We don't. They're using it for political football, whatever the hell it is they're doing down there. And so the word now is, well, Joe Biden has lost a lot of support from the Hispanics. I'll tell you why that is. Because I work with a guy named Eric Hernandez out in Albuquerque, New Mexico. He's one of our trucking companies that hauls for us. He's been hauling for me for 23 years. Richmond, north of Richmond. That's correct. Eric has been hauling for me for 23 years. His son, like my son has taken over our company, his son has taken over his company now. Eric came over here 30 years ago, and he went through the process because he wanted to go to school here. He went through the process legally, and it took him about 4 years. It's not easy, and it should not be easy to get into this country and stay here. It shouldn't be easy, okay? This is my opinion, all right? But he went through all the proper steps. He did everything he was supposed to do. And now, after putting in all that work and all that time and paying taxes in this country for 25 years, he sees these people coming across the border down there illegally, and it pisses him off. Those people are very prideful people, man. And they talk about, they're making us look bad. They're a bunch of bums. They're not supposed to be here. If they want to come here, they got to do what I did. And that's why he's losing support. That's why, among other things. But that's a big one. That's a big one. Now I'm going to talk about the thing that I've been promoting all over the place for 2 days because it pissed me off. It triggered me. Okay? There's some grifters out there, people. And I know that some of the people that follow my friend Trucker G, and I talked to him for 30 minutes today, and he's welcome to come on here if he's still awake. Told me he was going to bed early. I don't know. I watched him during the first convoy. And he went out there, and he had been called by the people that started that convoy. And I know those men too. I know them. I know them very well. He was called and asked to come out there because he had a large following, and they wanted to bring attention to the convoy and get people to join. So he did that. He made a commitment, and he went and did that. And he was going to stay there 3 or 4 days. He and I were talking on the phone every day because he is my brother. And I said, yeah, be careful with that, man. Be careful, Gerald. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. He said, hey, I gave my word. I'm going to do it. By virtue of that, I support him. Period. That's all I need to know. When one of my brothers comes to my house and said, hey, we're going to do some weird shit, my response is, you want me to drive? Because that's how it's supposed to work. So Gerald went out there and he spent a couple of days. He was going to give it 3 or 4 days and help him get started and help him going. And when he got out there and when he saw the reaction and when he saw the energy and when he saw the people that were involved, he decided to stay. He stayed longer than any of the organizers. They left. They went home. He stayed out there and he rode that pony till the wheels came off. This is personal. But I told Gerald I was going to do this. I did. I told him I was going to use his name. Told him I was going to say what I had to say. And he said, hey, brother, say what you're going to say. He lost everything he fucking had. He lost his home, his motorcycles. He's still got one left, but that's it. He had a nice collection. They're gone. He lost his home. He lost his job, all the sponsorships that he had because, he had a big following and a lot of people watched him on Facebook and YouTube. He had a huge following. He lost all of it. It all went away. Those people that were his sponsors went away. And I can tell you, we were at Matt's, 2 years ago, and he was scheduled to speak and scheduled to do stuff for a couple of the sponsors, and they said, hey, you know what, we're just gonna back away. He lost his sponsorships. He lost most of his income because of it. He lost all that to be part of it. He did that. Okay. If you're gonna get involved in a thing, in a movement, in something that you feel in your heart is the right and the patriotic thing to do, that's what he did. He lost his health. His health went to shit. His health went to shit, and he's still not recovered from it. And if you watch his videos now, he laughs and he jokes about it, but he still hasn't recovered yet. And, so when I see people and their profile on YouTube and Facebook is their Venmo, yeah, I'm done with that. I'm not going to call their names because you know who they are. Because this woman that was fucking with me today, she drugged their names out of the hat. I wouldn't have done that. But if you bring them up on YouTube and their main thing is their Venmo and they're out there riding around in an air-conditioned car and they're spending their nights in a hotel and telling you, we're going to take your border back. They're not going to take shit except your money. That's all they give a shit about. And there's a bunch of them. And they all got famous during that first convoy. And you know who they are. You know who they are. So I'm going to tell you a story or two. Okay. I'm going to tell you a story too. Let me start with this one. There was one guy, and he was going to be one of these YouTube reporters. And he put himself out there and represented himself as, I'm here to cover this. Just here to show people in America what's going on and how this thing is working on. And it took about a week, and he got into it and just became part of it. Okay. Just became part of it. And if you watched any of that, if you followed any of that on the videos, you know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. And when it got to Hagerstown that last time, and it fell apart and everybody left and went home, he stayed there. He stayed right there. And he was still doing his video thing in the evenings and stuff like that. Well, there were a lot of guys doing that, a lot of guys on TikTok. Yeah. But most of these people didn't have a following until the convoy. Most of them didn't know who these people were. Nobody knew. Now all of a sudden, they've got this huge following. Big following. Thousands of people. I mean, I would flip it on some days, and Trucker G would be going down the road, and him and Mary talking. He'd have 3,000 people following him at that moment. And would go for hours, And these other guys were doing the same thing, not as big a following as Gerald, but along those same lines. And they made a shit ton of money, because if you do a lot of that on YouTube and got a lot of followers and stuff, they pay you for that shit. So they started doing. Well, this guy, when it was all over and everything, he settled in Hagerstown. He moved from California to Hagerstown, and he settled down, built himself a real nice studio, real nice deal. And I saw today one of those guys had got $175,000 on Venmo or Patreon. I saw a guy, Jeff. I watched a guy one night, and it was after the first convoy was over, and everybody had gone home. And this guy Santa and some of his friends and followers stayed there in D.C. And people were sending them enough money along that they stayed there for about 30 days, even after all that was over. But I watched this one guy, and he's tagged on to him now, buddy. He's right there with him now. I'm a patriot. I'm gonna do this. He ain't shit. He ain't a mole on a patriot's ass. All right, that's my opinion. If he doesn't like it, he's welcome to call me, and I will gleefully go to wherever the fuck he is. It's pretty plain. But anyway, I watched my friends give up everything they had to be part of that. And then for these people to come along, we're gonna take our board back. You're not gonna take anything back, you fucking runt. Go home. Shut up. I watched that guy one night, Jeff. I watched him one night. In 1 hour. He was sitting in his car. He was sitting in a parking lot right outside of Washington, D.C. And in 1 hour, he grifted $2,300 from the people watching his live stream. Because you can see it. You can see it when it pops up, when people send him money. And there he is sitting there for 1 hour. Oh, thank you, darling. I'm here fighting for your freedom. I'm here fighting for you. Bitch ain't never fought in his damn life. In his life. So, when I tell you that there are people out there grifting, truckers say, I could be wrong, but that Asian my guy strikes me as one of those two. Never see him in a truck, but he makes all these videos about our issues. His name is Alex. He came out yesterday, and Alex came out yesterday, and he stated his position on it, and it's pretty much in line with mine. So just so you know, I don't watch Alex a whole lot. Most of the people I talk to are trucking or old school, bunch of dickheads like me, been around forever and ever and ever, and we're kind of old school and funny about how we do things. And Alex is not. He set himself up to report all this stuff coming out of the ATA and all this stuff coming out of Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. He set himself up to be that guy. And that's, that's pretty much what he does. And he seldom has an opinion, but yesterday he did. Yesterday he made an opinion. And so uh, so good for him. And I sent him a message and thanked him for that. But these people sitting there asking for your money, if you want to send those people your money, those people that camped out in DC for a month and didn't do a fucking thing, they didn't do anything. They stayed there for a month, and all they were doing was fighting and getting drunk, and two or three little goofy kids would come around there and yell at them, and they'd yell back and shit. Like, they didn't do a damn thing, nothing. They accomplished nothing. Nothing. What the original convoy did was, via my friend Gerald and some other guys out there, Mike Landis, Brian Brazzi, some guys like that put the thing together. They brought awareness. And you got to remember, back in that day, it's been 3 years ago. So you got to kind of remember what their bone was about in the beginning were the mandates. And the people up in Canada had managed to put a convoy together to fight the mandates. And the American guys came in right behind them, and it was about mandates. Okay. It wasn't about the border. It wasn't about, it wasn't about Trump or Biden. It wasn't about any of that shit. It was about the mandates they were trying to force on people. That's why they did it. That was the reason they did it. Other things always come into play, but that was the original intent. That was the original idea. And they started it, and within a week or two of the thing, before they ever even got to DC the first time, most all of the trucks had dropped out, and it was a convoy. They changed the name of it from Truckers Convoy to the People's Convoy, because a whole lot of guys in cars and pickup trucks and all that, they had jumped in, and it became something that it didn't start out to be. That's what it became. And I was home a lot during that time, and I watched it all on these videos and stuff. I was hauling in Canada then. I saw a lot of those guys. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the way the Canadians, the way it all ended with them was not pretty. It it, it was not pretty. Okay. So that's where that disrespected trucker guy got big from. A lot of people got big from it. And right now we got Convoy 2.0, and all these grifters are back out there, and it's like Christmas, New Year's, Halloween, 4th of July, and their birthday all rolled into one. They're out there grifting your damn money. They're not contributing to anything. They're damn sure not reporting on anything, because I watched some of it today just to make sure I wasn't sitting here talking out my ass, and there's nothing to report on. There's nothing there. But that's what they did. They jumped on this thing because that first ride was too sweet. Too sweet. What Jeff is talking about, $175,000. I watched that one guy, $2,300 in 1 hour. In 1 hour. That's obscene to me. Your problem's not at the Texas border. Yeah, that's a problem. Your problem's in Washington, D.C. That's where your problem is. If you want to pitch a bitch and raise hell and get something done, go there. Because they don't want you in Texas. And they've made it plain. And I'm talking about the people down there. They don't want you there. You're not welcome there. So, hold on a minute here. So, that's what I'm mad about. That's what triggered me. I got triggered. Oh, damn it, I got triggered. This is what an old fat truck driver, Marine, all that shit. It looks like triggered. Look at my face, triggered. I don't like people taking people's money. I don't like it. And that woman tonight really pissed me off. You're just negative. Well, I'll pray for you, because those people are patriots and you're not. Kiss my ass, lady. My big fat Irish ass. Kiss it right in the middle part. Okay? I put my patriotism up against anybody's any day of the week, and don't give a fuck. all about the COVID mandate, and now nothing. Well, we're going to take our border back. We're taking back. You're not going to take shit. There's 12 of you. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to get humiliated just like you did last time. But in the meantime, you're going to grift enough money off these people sitting at home that used to watch daytime TV. Now they watch these assholes. You're going to grift all the money you can out of them. They set up a camp up at Hagerstown at some flea market or something up there, had tents and all this stuff. And, they were, oh man, I don't know if you guys watched all that shit or not. Anyway, I was talking about this one guy that was in the convoy, and he was in his pickup truck, little pickup truck, and he became part of the convoy. He as Gerald likes to say, he drank that convoy Kool-Aid and got right in there with them. And when it was all over, he set up camp. He moved to Hagerstown. He moved there, and he set up a little studio and all that stuff. And he would go on. And he still has a big following. He would go on YouTube and all that stuff in the evenings and talk about politics and talk about this and talk about that. And to his credit, I never heard him ask anybody for a dime. These other people, now. And when you bring up their YouTube page, it's got his Venmo account pasted across the front. Now we've been out here for 2 weeks and we sure couldn't use your help. We need your help. Get a job, bitch. I did. You can. Anyway, this other guy, I never heard him ask anybody for a dime. And people would send him a little money here and a little money there. And he always thanked them. And when he set up his camp up in Hagerstown, he immediately went out and got a job. He did. He went out and got a day job. And he would still do his little films at night, his little go lives and stuff like that. Well, he had a couple girl moderators, and I do too. You just don't see them. But anyway, they would, if you said something bad to this guy or something that like negative to him, his little girl moderators, one of them would dox you. Do you know what doxing is? Does anybody know what doxing is? Raise your hand. I'll explain it to you real quick. They hack your accounts, starting with the easiest one to hack. The easiest one to hack is TikTok. If you have a TikTok account, that's my security guys that, we do a lot of government stuff. My security guys will not let me log on to TikTok on none of our computers or my phones. He has told me 1,000 times. I ever see you logged on to that. Venmo's like PayPal and shit. It's just a way to pay people money, give people money electronically. That's what it is. But this guy set up his little shop up there, was doing his thing. And one of his girls, if you said something she didn't like or she didn't want to hear, Jen, there's Jen. Yeah, they doxed me. Doxing is they hack your account, be it whatever platform you happen to be on. Once they get in there, they can get access to your bank accounts, your phone, all your credit cards. They can find out all kind of shit about you. And this little girl was doing it. And Alaska Allen, what's up, my brother? I don't know you, but I know a friend of yours, and I've never met him face to face. But when I do, I'm going to buy him. I'm just going to say this to everybody listening to me. He's about 212 people across the board. The first time I ever see Jeff and Cheryl, I'm going to say it to the whole world. Okay, I'm going to buy them a hamburger at the McDonald's of their choice. I mean, it's just the kind of guy I am. You point, we will go there. It's on me. Anyway, this little girl was working for this guy, and if you said something she didn't like, she would dox your ass. They take all that information from you, your bank accounts, your home address, photographs, all that stuff, and they put it out there on the internet and on the dark web so that everybody has access to all your shit. That's what doxing is. And this girl was doing it to people that she didn't like. Well, the guy that has the show and was doing everything. I still haven't said his name, but most of you already know who he is. You've seen it. They just put out your name, where I lived, worked, etc. But he wouldn't own it. Correct. He wouldn't own it. But he got mad at the girl, because I know the girl. She lives here in Nashville. I've never met her face to face, but I know who she is. But anyway, he fired her. He kicked her off of his show. He kicked her off. So she got mad at him and doxed his ass. Oh, yes. Doxed his ass. Put all his shit out there. And he had a son from his previous marriage, and put pictures of his son, pictures of his damn dog, for fuck's sake. Picture his bank accounts, everything, put it out there. Well, all of a sudden that got all his attention. And now you don't see him on YouTube anymore. He's gone. He came on there a couple months ago and did a little 3-minute thing. And yeah, I'm not coming back here. But he's gone. Doxing. That's called doxing. Taking all your information, all your documents, that's where the word comes from, all your documents, all your accounts, all that stuff, pictures of you, pictures of your home address, your car, your license number, all that, and just blast it out on the internet for everybody to see. And to Jen's point, you can do as much or as little with that as you want to. Now, here's the kicker about that. Unless you do damage to somebody, or it becomes a threat or something dangerous, it's not illegal to do that. You can do that. In fact, there are YouTube videos on how to dox people. It wouldn't happen to me, because I've got a security company that monitors all my stuff, and I've got firewalls on top of firewalls, so you'd have a hell of a time getting through to me. But that's a thing. These people out there, and this is what I wanted to talk about tonight. These people out there aren't interested in freedom. They're not interested in making the world better or the government better. They say they are, and they wave that flag around, and they got that big, tough talk. I watched this one guy on a video one day. I watched him, and he had this great big guy with him, and you all know who he is. You know who he is. Had this great big guy, and he walked up to some kid that was counter-protesting, young guy, probably 25, 24 years old, and he had this bullhorn, put it right in that kid's face, and blew that thing for a full minute while he stood there and smiled. That's your patriot. That's your guy that represents you. He's a little fucking run of a bully. That's what he is. So I sent him a message, because me being me, I sent him a message. I said, I want to make you a bet. I saw what you did to that kid last night, putting your little bullhorn up there and blowing your little horn with a 6'8" guy behind you, standing there for you. I said, I saw what you did. I want to make you a deal. I said, I'll get on a plane and come up there, and you do that to me. I'll walk right up there, and you put your bullhorn right up in my face, and you just blow that thing as long as you want to. You do that to me. And here's the bet. And if I lose the bet, I can pay it. Unlike you, I don't have to grift anybody to get my money. I earn it. Here's what I'll do. I'll pay you $100,000. You blow that thing. And here's the bet. Here it is. I'll bet you that I can get arrested, go to jail, make bail, get out, and be back at the hospital before they can figure out how to get that fucking bullhorn out of your ass. You're a tough guy with a little kid. People like that, man, I got nothing. And if you follow him and you send him your money, because I'm an American, I can send it to anybody I want to, then good for you. Good for you. Good for you. I watched my friend lose everything he had in that last convoy. And with these little buzzards, these little grifters floating around, now you can send it right to now we've been out here 2 weeks. They're sleeping in motels, driving along in a real nice car. They're eating in restaurants. Been out here for 2 weeks. Kiss my ass. Just kiss my whole ass. All right. If you guys want to support people like that, and I'm talking to people, who you are. About 6 or 7 people joined my Facebook page tonight because I invited you to do that. Those people are using you, and they're making a fool of you, and they're laughing about it. Every time you send them $10, they laugh about it. They think it's funny. They went up to Washington. They stayed there and stayed drunk in their little campground. Some of them stayed in real nice motels. A couple of them had Airbnbs, and they were pretending like they're sleeping on the ground and shit like that. They were not. They were not. That's just what I was thinking about that horn. Yeah. 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 Big man. Big man. Tough man. Big man. Blowing that kid. Jesus. And the kid stood there and took it. I mean, what is he going to do? So, do I have any respect for that guy? That's how much respect I got for that little son of a bitch. And he's on there tonight, right now, with his Venmo pasted across his page. And he needs your money because he's fighting for your freedom. Thank the good Lord and thank you, darling. We sure could use your help now. And I know it's hard to ask. I know times are tough, but if he every little bit helps. How many times have I heard him say that? Get a job, you piece of shit. Don't like it? No problem. I'm easy enough to find. So that's my bone. That's what triggered me. That's what pissed me off. Some of those people in that convoy mean well, and people in America have the right to protest. And by God, I'll fight for that right until I fall over. Been there, done that. They have the right to be heard. They have a right to protest. And so that's the First Amendment. And the Second Amendment's the reason they have the right. Damn right they do. They got a right to go and protest. They got a right to stand up and say what they think. And they should. But these little buzzards, these little flies like on shit floating around them, living off of them and sucking off of them, belittles that to me. It makes it small to me. It makes it little to me. I don't like it and I don't appreciate it. And if they don't like that, fuck you. So thanks for the education on this convoy thing. Like I said last night, people need to know. Jeff, it's the first convoy thing is a real long story, and I knew some people that knew some people, and so forth and so on. And it took a long time to put the whole thing together. But I'm actually friends with two of the guys that started it, that originated. So I've heard the story from them, and that's what I base whatever opinion I might have on that. And they started out, and it was about the mandates, and they started out to make their voices heard about the mandates. And they were going to go from California to Washington, D.C., and they were going to go downtown. They were going to go to the Capitol, and they were going to stand there and make their voices heard. Well, they weren't allowed in the loop in D.C. Everybody heard them coming. They probably had 8 fucking embeds in the group by then. And all this other shit going on. They didn't make it downtown, but they started a hell of a thing. There were people on overpasses waving flags and blowing horns, and they got a lot of people's attention. And to that, they were successful. They were successful. But a sideshow from that were these little YouTubers and Facebook little creeps that jumped in there. We're here to report. No, you're not reporting shit. We don't need you. You're not doing anything. Get a job. And if you knew the amount of money these people were grifting from you, I doubt you'd send them anything. There's Anthony Shaggy Cooch, my brother. What's up? So that was my rant tonight. That's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about these grifters. Are there people out there making a protest and making their voices heard? Yes, they are. Indeed, they are. Indeed, they are. Are there people out there trying to skim the cream off of it and drain your bank account? Yes, they are. There are too. And they've always been there. I mean, people like that have always been around. I love you too, man. I mean, people like that have always been around. Rates. You want to talk about rates? So that's pretty much all I had to say about that. I'm not going to call any names. You know who I'm talking about. You guys that are on here that have been around Gerald and me and all us guys for years and listened to us on our little pocket. You know who they are. You know who they are. And to that woman's point today, you're just all negative, and we love those guys. And if we want to, Mara. If we want to send them our money, we can. Fine. Eat your goddamn cat food, smile, and send your money to anybody you want to. Just know what it's about. You need to know what that's about. Those people make thousands and thousands of dollars off those little donations. They'll never tell you. I love a good rant. I do too. I do too. You know, it'd be really funny, Jeff, if I got on a plane and went there and the guy tried his bullhorn shit and I grabbed hold of that motherfucker and he just kicked the shit out of me. He would not be the first guy that ever did that. He wouldn't be the first guy. He wouldn't be the first guy. But he'd have to get lucky because I've seen him work. He ain't never seen me work. I'm old, fat, and slow. He'd have to get lucky. Promise you. Anyway, that was my rant about the grifters. That's what I wanted to talk about, the grifters. All these little guys floating around on the back. And you know who they are. They're in their cars and they're riding along, you know, and they're talking that tough talk. Oh, they're tough. We're going to do this. And we're going to do that. They've never done anything. They've never done anything. The one guy that I've been talking about all night never served. He never served. He didn't spend 1 minute in the service of the country. Not 1 minute. But now all of a sudden he's this great, you know, magnificent patriot. He ain't shit. I have to be careful. I get banned. Me too. It wouldn't be the first time for that either. It wouldn't be the first time for that either. My real name is not Trugs. That's why I have to do this. But anyway, that was my rant about them. Be careful with them people. Don't send those people your money. Send them home. Send them home. If you had any idea how much money they're making, because they laugh amongst each other when they talk to each other, I'm telling you, if you had any idea how much money they're raking in off these donations, and all they are is flies on shit. That's all those people are. They're not contributing anything. They're not making anything any better. Never have and never will. Never will. All they are is grifters out there wanting some of your money. Out there wanting some of your money. I haven't seen any of this Texas shit. Well, I woke up this morning, oddly enough, you know, and I don't watch cable news because it's just bullshit. You know, it doesn't matter which channel you turn on. It's, you know, we hate those guys. And if you flip the channel, we hate those guys. It's the same shit to me. It's the same shit. I've never seen this country with a more of a piss poor choice of people to choose from to run our government than it is right now. I've never seen it. And I'm tired of it. I'm sick and tired of it. Is this the best we can do? Are these two men, which is how it winds up, and one's just the same as the other to me, same as the other. Is this the best we can do in this country? Are these the best men or women that we can put up there to do that job? You got to be kidding me. Out of 300 million people, those are the two going after that job. It's no wonder people are mad. And I always say this, you can always join the She Trucking Sisterhood. Shaggy, I wasn't going to bring it up in public, but you were supposed to stop drinking. It ain't good for you. You need to lay off that damn juice and go lay down a little bit. I'm going to call Melissa in a little bit. That's all right. I mean, I just hate to say it, but it is. All right. I mean, is this the best we can do here? This is it, right? This is the best we can do. Couple of fucking 80-year-old guys that can't even find their way to a fucking car. That's it. That's it. That's the best we can do. You kidding me? You know, in this country right now, the current president, Joe Biden, has an approval rating of about 36%, somewhere in there. It's very low, very low. And Donald Trump, when he left office, was about the same. I think he was like 39. Purple hair. He was about the same. I think 38 or 39 approval rating. You know, below 40. They're both below 40%. But less than 40% of the American public approves of these men and the job that they're doing. Less than 40%. And Melissa's right. Less than 40%. And that's embarrassing to me. That's humiliating. You look out the rest of the world, and I've been all over this world. I have. I've been everywhere. You look out there, and it's embarrassing to me. It's embarrassing that's the best we can do. But they have an approval rating of, let's say, 35, 40%. Okay. Congress, that's the Senate and the Congress, has an approval rating of 11% across the board. 11%. That means that 89% of the people in this country do not trust their government. The president's going to get a little bit higher bump because he's the big politician on either side of the coin. He's get a higher bump. But as a rule, if you ask the average American, whoever that is, if you ask them, do you trust the Senate and the Congress? 89% of them say no. We got a problem. We got a big problem. So the grifters are out there. They're in force, and they need your money because they're out there fighting for your freedom. They're here for you. We're here for you. Hold on one second. Hold on. Hey, Bill, that's the quality. That's the La Quinta Inn's. 2 more exits up out there. You better pull up. Anyway, we're here for you. We're tough. It's hard. It's hard what we're doing, but we will do it for you in America. Kiss my ass. Don't do me any favors. Go to fuck home. That's enough of my rant tonight. I've been on here for almost an hour. That's too long. But I wanted to qualify that. I wanted to say that one thing we can agree on, our so-called leaders are a disgrace. But does anyone do anything about it? No. They keep voting the same assholes in. I don't, Jen, Jeff, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Well, if you watch how they play this game, how they play the game, on the Democrat side, they pushed everybody else off the ticket. Bobby Kennedy's been running for a year, and Biden won't even give him Secret Service protection. And they called him into Congress, and they took turns humiliating him and have him taken off the ballots in the states. We can't even vote for him. Now they're trying to take Trump off the ballot. So you can't vote for the person you want to vote for. What the fuck are we doing? Who are these people? They forgot that they work for us. They forgot that their job title is representative. People talk about who are our next leaders going to be. Your job is not to lead me. I don't work for you, bitch. You work for me. I pay you money to go up there and pass laws and enact shit that benefit me and my home and my family. Okay? Those are the people I vote for. Good night, all, Michelle. Thank you, dear. Have a chocolate chip cookie and glass of milk waiting for me. You're evil. You're an evil person. Anyway, I don't know. Is that it? That's the best we can do. I guess that's the best we can do. Is these 2 old motherfuckers, people say, now, Frank, damn it, you know good and well. Cheryl says she just wants to crown Michelle. That's good. That's fun. I got to tell this story, because it's Bear's telling. This woman that got mad at me tonight and followed me, I had to block her because she got to be like a fly on me, man. And she was all over. The way she started today was she posted this really, really ugly picture of this horrible looking thing with glasses on, and it was supposed to be Taylor Swift. Okay, here's my story. Several years ago, my daughter went to high school with Taylor Swift right here in Tennessee where we live. They went to high school, and my wife volunteered me to work at the popcorn stand for some of the games and shit like that, parent volunteer deal. She volunteered me, and I went down there, and they were having some talent contests, and my daughter was in it, and Taylor was in it, and all this stuff. Anyway, when I went to work in the popcorn booth, the guy that I got in there working with, doing it, he had been doing it for a year ahead of me. He was ahead of me because Taylor's a year older than my daughter. It was Taylor's dad, Scott. His name is Scott. And over a period of 2 years working the popcorn booth, we got to be pretty good friends. And he's a guitar player, and I'm a drummer. No, Cheryl thinks the Dems are waiting to crown Michelle. Why not? Why not? Why not? I'm an independent. I vote for whoever I think will make my life better. Isn't that what they're supposed to do when they go there. That's what I do. There's a whole lot of shit I don't agree with on both sides. A whole lot of shit I do agree with on both sides. I just think I picked the right person. Is what I try to do. Anyway, I got to know her dad pretty well, and we were going to start a little band together, and we never did. We never got around to it. But I got to know him and didn't know Taylor very well, other when she would come back and give him a hug, and they'd get in the car and go home and stuff like that. But I got to know her dad, and this woman doing this thing with ugly pictures, and that kind of set me off a little bit because I know them, I know her family, and they're good people. They're very, very good and generous people, and that pissed me off. And I said, what an ugly soul you must have to, put ugly pictures up of a person you've never met because somebody on some fake ass fucking news channel told you to hate her, so now you do, and you're gonna pray for me? Fuck you. Fuck you. Save it. I don't need it. Save it. Anyway, that's my thing of that. As far as the girl goes, I haven't seen her in a long, long time. She's big, very, very rich and famous now. My daughter, went a different path. She's a lawyer, so everybody did good. I run into her dad maybe twice a year, and we speak and say hi, and we'll stop and talk for a couple minutes, But those are good people. And she gave all of her truck drivers and her staff $100,000. And Mara's on here. Mara's on here right now. She can tell you. $100,000 bonus at the end of her tour. $100,000 to a truck driver is a life-changing amount of money. $100,000, you can go buy that new truck you want, or you can go put the big down payment on that house you've been wanting, or whatever. $100,000 is a life-changing event for people that are used to making a hell of a lot less than that. And she did. And when she got off the stage in Los Angeles, she went the next morning downtown and she saw all the homeless people, and she walked in and she gave the homeless shelter down there $200,000. You know what? I'm okay with that. I think that's great. I think that's a wonderful thing. As far as her politics goes, I don't know. A trucker tale, maybe? No, it's not a trucker tale. There's a lady on here right now that was there. She can tell you. She can tell you. It's not a trucker tale. She did that. She did it. She did it. She only made $1 billion doing that thing that she does. And her dad wasn't sure when she was in high school whether she sits there and strums that guitar. I guess we're going to have to get her some singing lessons. The poor kid can't sing on key because he's a guitar player. He's a very good guitar player. She did okay for herself. And Scott, her dad, was smart enough when she started getting big he managed her in the beginning. He was smart enough to turn her career over to some professionals that put her. She's the one person I know here in town that can get Ronnie Dunn on the phone and get him to go out and do benefit concerts and charity concerts and stuff like that. Nobody else can get Ronnie Dunn on the phone, but she can. And she's been doing that for 10 years. So, yeah. And you know what? And this is the truth. And I hate to. No, Frank Jeff was replying to me. Oh, okay. I have to admit this because I'm saying nice things about Taylor. If you turn on the radio right now, I couldn't pick out one of her songs if you put a gun in my head. I listen to old 70s and 80s rock and roll, and I don't know her music. I used to hear her play when she was a kid. She was a tall, lanky kid with real long, frizzy red hair, and cute. But she does good things for people, and I admire that. I do. And her dad's a good person. So he's had cancer. He's come through it. He's done well. I'm going to get off of here. I appreciate you guys coming on here. I hope you come on here. Most of the time on Tuesday night, guys, we talk about trucking and rates, and we're going to talk about that. Try to get Shaggy on here with me next week. He's running a bunch of trucks up in Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and he's making money with those trucks. And we're going to get him on here. We're going to talk about it. Who is Taylor Swift? I'll send you a picture. Well, all you got to do is tune into the Super Bowl, and you'll see her every time Travis Kelce makes a touchdown. Every time. That's some funny shit to me. It might not be to everybody, but I think it's hysterical. But anyway, most of the time we talk about rates. Shaggy's doing some stuff on rates up there. I want to get him on here and get talking about it. Get back into our trucking business. I would love to get Jeff and Cheryl on here. They haul RVs. That's what they do. They got I don't know if it's a 250 or a 350 pickup truck, and they haul RVs cross country, and they've been doing that for a long while. Good night, Jeff. Thank you for coming, man. I appreciate that. I'd love to get him on here talking about that, about what they do and how they go about doing it. And just the more we learn, the more we know, the more powerful we are, and the better we do. But I want to say thanks to everybody. Please don't send these grifters any money, and you know who they are. And if you're going to say, yeah, that Frank guy, he's just negative, then here's my message to you. I told you what I thought. I told you what I know. I know who these people are. You know who these people are. Okay? I'm not being negative about a damn thing. I think those people have every right in the world to go protest anywhere they want to, anytime they want to. I just know that there's some grifters circling around out there that want your money, and they don't deserve it. They haven't earned it. They haven't done anything. So that's my point. That's what I'm going to say. We'll get back together next week and talk again. I love you guys. It's only Tuesday night. Have a great week. Be safe. All you guys out there on the road, be safe. Take good care of each other. We are all we got, people. We're all we got. The government's not on the cavalry on the hill coming to save you. They're not going to do that. It's not going to happen. It's just us. It's just us. Take good care of somebody. Help somebody. Take good care of each other and good care of yourself. I love you. I mean that. And I'll see you next